Hi everyone, this is Avocado Sprint 48 release meeting. So far we have Lukash, Amador, and Ademar. We're going to go through the status of the sprint, what we delivered, what's going to make Avocado version 48, and after that we're going to take a look at what's probably going to shape Avocado 49. So let's start with what was done during the sprint. So starting from bottom to top, as we usually do, um, the last thing that was introduced on the sprint was a fix to a bug on Avocado VT. Basically, we had the introduction of a feature that would set the amount of memory to be used on Avocado VT tests dynamically based on available memory. This brought some problems. Lukash looked into this. We suggested that the feature, while useful, it should be disabled by default because it would give different users on different machines different outcomes on some tests. So Lukash, any further comments on this card?
Yeah, basically you can enable it via params, so you can use minus VT extra params automem equal yes, and then the memory is shrinked, or the guest memory is shrinked to not exceed the your available memory.
All right. Next was add all optional plugins to pip. So on the last release, we had the split of a lot of plugins into separate plugin directories. They would still be shipped only as part of the main Avocado source release. This still makes sense for some release archives, such as the ones that are used on RPM package builds, because we go through the individual directories and create plugins, package plugins for each one of them out of the single source tree. But for users relying on installations such as pip, which requires the packages, the individual packages, to be hosted on PyPI or similar repos, this posed a problem. So we have added support for stripping the optional plugins from tarballs when the tarball is intended to be uploaded to pip. And we have also added the creation of individually separated source tarballs. So for each plugin, a different source is going to be created. And we have also adjusted the package names so they make sense in pip, because we have the other Avocado package there. So instead of just saying Avocado result, which may refer to the old to the other Avocado package, we are using a prefix with our own name. So Avocado framework plugin something is what we found is more consistent throughout the project. So users can expect now to be able to install individual plugins from PyPI by doing pip install and the feature that they want. Next one is fix broken test statuses. So this has a quite long discussion and outcome. Basically, the initial work was to support the skip of tests from Avocado VT tests. The implementation was originally based on a more or less copied version of the Avocado test class implementation of Run Avocado. Lukash decided to simplify that, remove the duplicated code by moving the test execution to the setup phase. This caused some other issues which were then identified and fixed. So this was something that was introduced and fixed on this sprint. We do have to carry backward compatibility with the LTS releases, which right now prevent us from making an implementation that is simpler on this. So, Lukash, any other comments here?
Yeah, basically, I can recommend if you're developing Avocado VT tests, I can recommend looking at the comments because there are some confusion how to use exceptions in Avocado VT tests. Let me just mention in Avocado VT you're supposed to use Avocado VT exceptions from which comes currently from Autotest, or you can use test.skip, test.warn, test.cancel. They are both acceptable. You're not supposed to use what's written up there right now on Clever's window
Mm-hmm.
where you import from Avocado core, because importing from Avocado core is not correct, as that code can change anytime. It's not kept compatible.
That is an internal
Yep.
namespace. Okay, if anybody has further questions, you can contact us. Next one is the rename of Rails 7's devel kickstart file. So this was introduced a while ago, kind of to to uh, not make users need to keep up with the different Rail releases. They decided to use a wildcard kind of release called devel, and Lukash noticed that this would cause clashes, confusions, and decided to go ahead and um, rename them. Any other comments here, Lukash?
Yeah, basically there is an important change as we changed the kickstart name. You have to rerun the VT bootstrap, otherwise next time you run Avocado VT, it says that if you use Rails 7 devel variant, that the kickstart is not found.
Right,
So don't forget we run the VT bootstrap. And the second need for changing the name was that Spice team was also using this file, and they needed a different version of this file. And they uh, injected this different file into their repository and added a feature for Avocado to use this file if available. And we are trying to clean up everything because this is not the proper way, because once you install TP Spice, you get a different Rails 7 devel kickstart file. So
right,
this is one step to avoid this confusion. Rails 7 devel, from now on, it uses Rails 7 devel kickstart, and Spice team has created a different variant, and they are using a different configuration file, which now should be merged to the upstream project.
right. So the basic issue here is that the guest names are global to Avocado VT and not local to the test providers. And TP Spice was using Devel, and the PQMU was also using Devel, like defined on the main Avocado VT configuration. So this is now solved. Change the return of utils Linux loaded module info. So if I remember correctly, this adds the parameters to the output of modules info. Yes, directory of module name, size, submodules, versions, and other information. So it adds more to the utils Linux modules utility library. Um, add test fail, test error, and test cancel to the test API. So this is a request for comment from Lucas. He did give a few examples where test writers would benefit from having access to some of the exceptions that result in test failures, errors, and the cancellation of tests. There was an agreement that this makes sense. So these are now have been moved to the Avocado core test API. So they should remain stable now.
By the way, one of the usages is actually Avocado VT. As I said, you're not supposed to import from Autotest from Avocado core, but if you are not using the LTS version, you can import it from Avocado directly since this version.
Yep. Okay, next one is deprecate self.skip. So with the introduction of cancel, we decided to go ahead and deprecate the use of skip. The whole point of the meaning of skip is that skip meaning not going somewhere, not executing something. And since this was done from inside the tests, there was a conflict with definition itself. There was also lots of confusion between the execution of or not of methods that precede or proceed the test itself, like setup and teardown. So there was a lot of work here. Amador, do you want to give any comments on this?
Yes, we have also another card for these, but they are all related. The point here is that as we introduced the self.cancel, and the self.cancel can be called anywhere during the test, I mean in setup or in the test method or even in teardown. It can be called from anywhere in the test. It makes no sense to keep the self.skip anymore because it was something to be called from the setup. And as a concept, we cannot skip a test that is already running. And that's the reason that behind the deprecation of the self.skip. Still, we have the new self.cancel API, and also we have the skip decorators that those will be the only way to, I mean, apart from the different internal types of skip like timeout or things like that, but the way for the users to skip tests will be only using the skip decorators after we finish the deprecation process for self.skip. And right now we are only advertising this deprecation, and we expect the API to be removed by the end of this year. I have some examples here that I'd like to show, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Just to make it clear, what are the behaviors that we are supporting after all those changes. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have this simple test here with the setup, test one method, and teardown phase. Of course, if you run these tests, it will run everything. Let me expose just my log that's configured in these tests. So right now, users can use here only in setup the self.skip, and these will make the test to skip, but as this is being deprecated so far, we expect users to use self.cancel instead. And the only heads up here is to notice that using self.cancel, it will cancel the test from this point. I mean, the setup from this point on. It means that this first line of setup will be executed still. It will, of course, not execute the test method, but it will execute the teardown. So let me save this and compare the results down here. We have the setup step 1 being executed, as we have here. We don't have the step 2 of setup being executed. We don't have the test being executed, and we have the teardown being executed here. So using self.cancel means that we are not going to run the test method, but we will have the setup and teardown. Of course, the setup will be executed to the point, up to the point that self.cancel was called. But this is the way to cancel a test from inside the test. If we show the UI for this execution, you see that the status will not be skip anymore, but it will be cancel. We changed the API name, and we are deprecating the old self.skip. If you want to skip the test, instead of using self.cancel, you should use Avocado, skip decorators, And with this skip decorator, nothing will actually be executed. The test will be, of course, skipped. And if we take a look at the internal logging, you see that nothing will be printed here. It means that we have no setup, no test method, and no teardown for skip, which is the correct meaning of skipping a test. So heads up, we are deprecating self.skip. Please use self.cancel to skip or to cancel the test from inside the test, and the skip decorators if you want to skip everything, including setup and teardown.
Okay, very good. So we have talked about these two related cards and moving them together. The next one is also very nice work by Amador, which was the integration of robot test framework with Avocado. So with this new plugin, it's now much easier and much more integrated, the execution of robot frameworks. So we have a new test type, and interactive tests are now a lot simpler in Avocado. Amador is going to give a demo on how to use this, so hand it over to him again.
Sure. This robot plugin is being delivered as an optional plugin, so it will be available as a different package in pip. Previous version of Avocado, I have a virtual machine here with Avocado 46, for example. If you provide some robot tests to this version to Avocado, it will just tell you that Avocado doesn't know how to run such tests because it's not recognized by internal resolvers, and of course it's not recognized by internal runners. But with this new plugin that we have integrated to Avocado, this optional plugin, you can provide the same directory containing the robot tests, and Avocado will be able to list everything. It will be able to recognize it as a robot test. You can provide the directory or the individual files. They will be all recognized. You can, of course, use the same test references syntax as we have in a regular, like instrumented or simple test for Avocado. For example, you can say that you want to run these tests that are called empty username. It will filter the test the same way, and when the time to run the test comes, you can just run everything from a directory or from a file, and it will run the robot tests using Avocado, and they will be executed one by one. So you have the same level of granularity as you have with Avocado tests, but running actually robot framework tests inside Avocado. This new plugin will be available after we release this version. Right now it's only in the repository, but after we release the packages, you will see the Avocado framework plugins robot available in to be installed via pip. And that's it. The test is still running, but that's all I have.
Nice. So a heads up, since a few of the requirements of the robot framework cannot be fulfilled at this time by Fedora packages, we will not be shipping this specific plugin as an RPM package on this release. So if users need this, the best they can do is to install it from pip. And there's no problem in installing most plugins from RPM packages and one extra plugin from pip. There should be no problems there.
The problem is that we don't have the robot framework RPM package available for Fedora. And as, of course, robot is a dependency for this plugin, and it's available only via pip. That's the reason that behind we only shipping this package to pip right now.
Yeah, so I have already started some conversation with Merlin, who manages the Fedora package, so that we may decide on who is going to tackle the packaging of robot framework itself for Fedora. So maybe he can tackle this, maybe we can. Let's see how this works. Because ideally it would be nice to have everything available from both repositories. Okay, so next one was documentation update on how to install Avocado. It was basically a sync with the new package names. So the package names in upstream used to be Avocado. They are now Avocado, Python Avocado, the RPM packages. So it was a sync related to name and a sync between the README file and the main documentation sources. So you can now expect the same information across both pointers and matching the package name. Next one was the switch from XZ, from 7-zip to XZ to compress the GOS packages. So this included a change in Avocado VT. This included the creation of new GOS images, like compressed with XZ. And further along in this work, there's another card that mentions that, but we also saw an update of GOS from 23 to 25, of course, based on Fedora 25. The difference here is, the big benefit here is that some users using different architectures, they cannot rely on EPEL, and 7-zip may not be available at all for EPEL. So by switching to XZ, we have a more streamlined way of deployment of Avocado and Avocado VT. We also actually gained a little bit of compression space here, but that is minor, so it wasn't the main goal. Next one is Avocado VT bootstrap crashes with an existing guest. So this was a simple but annoying usability problem. So users doing Avocado VT bootstrap with a typo or just a plain unexisting guest name would see a crash. Amador tackled this and fixed it, so a proper message is given. Next one was actually a question, an experiment on Avocado VT, whether we should or not include Python 2 in GOS because they are used by some tests, such as the console tests, the Virtual console tests. I went ahead and did some experimentations with the image size. It's always a challenge to match, to balance functionality and image size for something that is called just enough operating system. In the end, we decided to include Python 2 in GOS, and we have then released the new GOS version, which is 25. Running teardown when test skip by the creator, this is also related to what we mentioned before about the skip and cancel statuses. Bug avocado self-check, make check is broken. This resulted in results within attemptdir when self-check, which is running the self-tests with Avocado itself. We used to leave results directory, and this is now fixed. Review Avocado job fail and Avocado fail usage. So there are two exit codes that we published as part of Avocado core exit codes. While this is Avocado core, this propagates all the way to the exit status that users of the Avocado command line application see. I noticed that some failures had no relation at all to a job, but still were using Avocado job fail. So in situations like diff, even tools such as the REST client were using job fail, when the real meaning, the real exit status should be Avocado fail. So they were not related to jobs at all. So this is the end of what was accomplished during this sprint. Many tasks have progressed here. but have not come to code and pull requests and experimentations that were completely closed. So I'll go through them. So this week we had the release of Avocado LTS 36.4 with 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken, backported bug fixes. While distributing, like building and distributing the packages, I noticed that the specific combination of Fabric and Avocado LTS would cause errors. So I did some investigation, and we are now, since this is something that only happens within the RPM build environment, we are considering skip tests on Fairlight 24 only for the LTS releases if there's no easy and quick fix. It seems to be related to the Fabric version, which always causes little surprises. So this is in work in progress.
By the way, the important thing is that the resulting build works properly. Only
Yeah.
the self-test does not work.
Yeah. Okay, so next one is release new A-expect. So there were a few questions to also release. That means creating the release and publishing that to pip, since users are, each time we check, they're using pip more to install Avocado and dependencies such as A-expect. So there were bug fixes there. And I've requested Lucas to release a new expect. He's working on it, but still hasn't released it. This is a card to track an issue that we found ourselves. So Yash was actually reporting this. We were aware of this kind of situation because we are hosting some of our content in a very low-powered container. It is publicly available, which fits what we need, but from time to time we have failures serving this. So we have been looking at alternatives on where to host this, but we still haven't decided on the final resting place for our code, for our asset files, I mean.
Yeah, suggestions are welcome and sponsorships.
Yeah. Next one is check that post-job plugins are called on various error conditions. So Lukash spent some time making sure that posts are called in error conditions within pre-jobs or even within the jobs. This and another pull request actually generated a mini RFC that was sent upstream. Basically, there were discussions on what pre and post mean and how they should be used when defining interfaces in Avocado. To give a real quick explanation, we decided that a pre-something is something that happens outside the context of the subject itself. So a pre-job should never be something that is run by a job, but something that is run by whoever runs the job. It's fine to have pre-methods within an object, such as job can have pre-tests, but they will never be run by the test themselves. So this, and also where is it? Job time should be wall clock time, which is a pull request that has been here dormant for a while. It's something that is now affected by this resolution. And basically, the action that this calls for is renaming a few of the entry points. We will have to deal with compatibility that is used elsewhere, such as in Avocado VT. They have the VT job lock, which is going to be turned into a different kind of plugin, but it feels like this will bring a lot more consistency to the interfaces that we provide. Next one is Avocado VT Bootstrap warns about no logging handler. Lukash, I reviewed this code. I think, yeah, it was rebased, but I didn't notice that we had it in the same version. So this will make an inclusion really soon after the release. Add make requirements plugins. This is a mostly internal change. We have a make requirements target in the make file that install the requirements that we have within Avocado itself. And we expanded that to requirement plugins, which would work like Link, which go outside the Avocado source tree and looks for requirements of plugins that live outside the main source tree. This has not been merged, but it seems to be good for inclusion after a few tests. Next one is the backport of official spec files. So there were two sets of changes here, actually three. So we reduced a bit of the changes that exist between upstream and downstream. Then we went ahead and synced the package name. So the packages that we will distribute are now called Python Avocado that match what is distributed in Fedora and EPEL. And then there is a third batch actually of changes that are going to bring the two spec files a lot closer. And this is important because our maintainer is trying to keep track of the latest releases, and having a diff, it's bad for both of us. Next one is RFC, multiple machine support for tests. So this has just been posted to the mailing list. It is the result of a lot of previous work, basically the different versions of the proposal by Lukács, in which a lot of us contributed and gave ideas and refined a lot of the ideas and concepts. This one tries to summarize this this counter proposal. Feedback is extremely welcome. There are a few examples here that try to help the understanding of the core concepts brought here. So this is seen as a major activity for the next sprint. Multiplex, implement the internal filters. Lukács has published this a week or two ago. Amador has reviewed it. We are on V3, and we decided to wait the release to happen and then merge this early on the next one. So it's something that we'll get done really early in the next sprint. And the job API, it's again kind of a placeholder, something to remind us that we are incrementally pursuing this task, but there are no explicit task associated with this on this sprint. Any comments on what we have done and what is in development right now?
Just one, and that has to do with the JOS image compression and the deprecation. Did that have any effect on 36LTS? Like if the image format changed, does that mean that 36LTS can't find the images anymore?
Not really, because that is related to Avocado VT only. So Avocado itself does not know about those images.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, plus actually the image is decompressed by Avocado Utils archive, which supports all kind of
True.
all kind of compression tools as long as they are installed. So this is transparent.
True. Yeah, this was actually one of those surprising moments where you just change the name of the file that's going to be decompressed, and voila, it works, and you wonder, oh, there must be something wrong here, but no, it's just that we have already had support for XE for a while in Avocado itself. Okay, so this is the end of the sprint review. We will be looking at a release either later today or early tomorrow. You guys can expect the announcement. Now let's focus on what is going to make Avocado 49. So we already know what's going on, so in work in progress, and this is of course going to shape Avocado 49. But then the sprint backlog as well. it's something that we should look at. So I'm changing now the name, actually the number of the sprint backlog release. Renaming this to work in progress 49. Who is going to be the owner of the next one? Oh, the physician. I already have a name. Yeah, that's Lukash, and we need a new add a list, and this is going to be done 49 and also have a name. Okay. So let's go briefly to what we have chosen to make its way into Avocado 49. Besides, of course, what is already in work in progress, we have a few bugs. So bugs first. I'm not sure why this changed. We had previously prioritized. So one is make it possible to define enable and tag doc strings. Currently, we used to have only enable, and now we have enable and tags as two different docstring statements, directives, that's how we are calling them. Unfortunately, we have not tried them together, and this has been requested on the community. And it looks like a bug. It's the kind of thing you would expect it to work. Result plugins are generated output even when the job does not have a test suite. This shouldn't happen. Avocado list is broken when file loader is not enabled, so a few bugs. With features, we have results, result plugin for results DB. This is something we saw during DevConf, and we really think that Avocado should streamline communication to results DB, which is used by tools such as Taskotron. We saw people using different plugins with Jenkins, so another layer, so Taskotron and then Jenkins and another layer to actually have those results published to ResultsDB. And we think we have a good architecture to fit the publishing of those results directly. Fix RPM packaging paths. This was also reported upstream that var user share should not be used for dynamic content. This is actually an RPM violation. Create a resume option. This was a feature requested by Benzia, which is from the Fedora laptop testing team. Test. So two are actually related. Resume option for failure, crash, and after interruption. Then the the improvement of variant IDs, and by consequence the .data directory should also include the variant ID. This is something that Lukash is probably going to work on next sprint. The cleanup of some Avocado test methods, file a bug report for libvirt Python package. This was something that we noticed on the last sprint, I believe, and has hit a few users. Ademar was one of them. Create a tagline for tagging tests. So back to the tag support that we mentioned a little bit before, we should probably give a guideline to users how they should tag their tests. So users of external repos but public ones can just rely on more or less a guideline for those categories of tests. Add script to update version for all parts of Avocado. So this was something that was introduced actually today. Since we split the packages of the optional plugins into packages that can be pushed to pip, we had to put the versions there instead of relying on the version file that is on the topmost directory of the tree, but it's outside the directory of the individual optional plugins. So a tool to actually go ahead and update all of them, it's highly desirable to avoid version mismatches. Clean up job statuses since it's not used anymore. Internal change and low-hanging fruit. So users out there that are willing to contribute to Avocado could take a look at this. And finally, the rename of Avocado multiplex to Avocado variants. If there are any feature requests for the next sprint, we can certainly accommodate on what we're planning to deliver here. Any comments, feature requests, different perspective on what should make Sprint 49? Now it's the time to go ahead and make your opinion known.
Hi, Kleber. This is Yash here.
Hi, Yash.
One input from me would be the effect of the host underscore card. Is that something that you're planning to work on in the sprint?
Yes, so I'm actually wondering where this card is.
Oh, yeah, I think it was in short-term backlog.
Okay, so yeah, we missed this one. So
No, that one is actually planned. It has a due date, so it will pop up eventually when the due date is here, and the due date is the 1 month ahead because right now the QE has a lot of work. So
yeah,
yeah,
we
when
actually
they are ready, we'll contact them.
So we actually had a meeting with QE and to we tried to give them a push on this. I'm not sure we have received an exact date they would be available. This would be a nice time to actually maybe update this or even go ahead and move it to the sprint backlog depending on the feedback we got. So Jeff or Yash, have we got any feedback from Mia on this?
No, not yet.
Do you think we should move it to the sprint backlog and so that we
I mean, it is a blocker for the running acceptance listeners here because we had planned to use Cartesian config files. So we can get around this by either modifying the files or removing the dependency altogether. But since I haven't worked a lot with it, I don't know how long it will take for me to correct the issue. I would be glad to help. But then if it's already a loaded sprint, which it looks like it is, then I don't want to bring it up in the sprint. I just wanted to ask if it was something that we were planning to work on.
Yeah, so Jeff, besides giving his opinion here, you're obviously welcome to distribute resources. I think this is, I see this as a blocker. I've worked with Yash on this and he is blocked by this. So I see this as really important. I had forgotten about this card, but it's a good thing you reminded us. So Jeff, I think you can have a say here if we should use some of our time to actually work on this. Or wait for Mia, or...
I guess we have to find out from Mia what her when they're going to get around to looking at this.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, I think we should probably bump the priority up a little bit and try to get to it.
Okay, so to bump the priority, it means we're going to move to the sprint backlog so we keep a closer eye on it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there is the due date, and we can't do anything until they actually report, give us some report or.
I mean, we could always do something. I mean, we could always go ahead and either document or backport what they do to upstream. Ideally, it would be nice if they would be involved, and this is what we are trying to do. But if they don't have any resources or they can work on this for the next month or two or whatever, then we'll have to take this. So just moving this so that we keep a closer eye on it. I think the due date is still valid, but let's just keep an eye on it.
I have to drop to go to the meeting, so.
All right. So I think we're done here. Thanks everyone, and expect a release.
Okay. One more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Regarding the implement internal filters. So
sorry, I forgot about Lukash.
Yeah, we have only Yashi here, so I don't know whether it's important to you, but well, let me just share the current version, and like there is one question, so I can just demonstrate it, and feel free to, if you're watching it later, feel free to react on this, because till the end of the next sprint we have like 3 to 4 weeks to adjust the behavior, then it's released and we have to cope with that basically for eternity. So let me demonstrate how the internal filters looks like. Basically, I have this nice test which supports getting a heading, then getting a text and a level. And then it basically just writes to the log level of specified by the params with some same default, some text also with the same default. I have a variant file. Right now you can see that I have two filter out commented lines, so they does not apply right now. And I have I have a short version of this. I have a long version with 2 different headings, and I have 2 logging levels. So basically, when I just run it, well, okay. If I run it, and it's wrong. Okay.
You're running a test with that, right?
Let me. You can see that it produces several tests, like 1 words, 1 passes, 1 words, 1 passes, and there are different lines logged. So when I just move it, you can see that there is a short info version, then there is a info version, there is short info with short heading and long text, and the same for long heading with long text. Now, let me add a multiplex out, because I want to. This is the standard multiplex out which is available. The filters available right now. And what it does is it basically cuts out the text short. So what would you expect? Basically, this short shouldn't be here, right? And it's not here. Now, let's say that this is actually expected way of this level. This, let's say that I have like different filters here, and I say that this is actually not compatible with the short version, or I don't want to run it with this. So when I save file, this will be supported from the next version of Avocado. Then it should somehow does the same job, right? Without any need of filter outs on the command line, because that variant says that, okay, I don't want to. Oh, sorry, different YAML file. Okay, like this. So you can see that it filters out implicitly the short variant. And now there is this question. I can filter out even something else, and that's, for example, this long heading. What it does, again, if I show you the filter, the YAML file, it should, like, according to this filter out, this should remove this part, like physically remove it. When I run it, you can see that you only have long version with info and long version with warn. But there is no short, nothing else, because this is effectively removed from the tree before the multiplexation. Now, if I do the same, I remove this text long heading. I need to save it. I run the multiplex filters. It produces no variance, because that's what I would expect. And the reason is that, let me just show that these filter outs, or basically those filters are to the tree before the multiplexation. So I remove this heading at all from it. And when I see the content, it shows you the default actually, because there is no heading. So it would use the default instead if I run the test. But here, when I do the multiplexation and then the internal filters, I basically go through, I iterate all the variants, including the one which is filtered out. And then I ask myself, okay, is this variant valid? And I have to say no, because there is this heading. And the heading shouldn't be part of my variant. It doesn't make sense to have variant with a heading, because this is, according to the filters, I want to filter out all headings.
Right.
Similarly, if you take a look at for example, virtualization, filter Fedora, it means I filter out all Fedora versions and not just Fedora versions, but also flavors and everything. Or if I want to filter out certain disk type, it doesn't mean I want to run the same tests without the file, but without that disk file. I just that every variant which does have this this branch itself is invalid. So the question is actually whether this is acceptable and understandable, that there is a difference between the external filter outs and the internal filter outs, because these internal filter outs make actually sense in this way, because this is for chopping the tree and this is for specifying dependencies between branches.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, they have two different use cases, as you pointed out. They are evaluated at different times. I think the only feedback, the initial feedback that I have, it's while both of them are filtering operations that remove parts of the tree. I think it would be better if we could come up with different names for them. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I think that the filter out on the command line should be called cut out, or keep only and cut out. But unfortunately, we called it this way a long time ago. So yeah, because it's not filtering, it cuts the tree.
Right. We can still deprecate that name, provide a new name, so that users understand that the operations happen at different times. I think it's something that would be confusing when we document that if we don't propose a new name and document the deprecation. But I do agree with the general logic that you presented.
Okay. Like this was discussed like a year ago with this decision actually. So this time actually I went ahead and developed the code so we can merge it. Anyway, if you still have a different opinion, feel free to contact us. Otherwise, it will stay like that for another couple of months or years.
Right. So sorry for forgetting about the time slot you requested to talk on this. It was good that you reminded me. If there are no further issues, I'm calling this the end of this meeting. I appreciate everyone being involved and hope to see you in 3 weeks for Avocado 49.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye.
All right,
Thanks,
bye-bye.
Thanks, Lukash. Thanks, Amador. Bye-bye.
Bye.